Hi, this is Matthew DeGraffenreid, and welcome to Marble Gems for another Making Marbles with Matthew Marble Monday. Anyways, I thought I'd show you my little rock shop here and what I've got, and show you just a few interesting stones that go along with it. So let me just show you my equipment and then some of the things I've got set up and what I'm doing. So essentially my rock shop is just about a 5-foot space in the back of my garage. So I've got a wall there, and then I've got this rock shop. It used to be a storage area, and we made all these shelves and stuff to get things up. And I put in, when we remodeled the kitchen, I had my cousin who was working and doing the remodeling. We utilized all of the old kitchen cupboards and then used a piece of plywood which we painted and made a nice workbench. And it's worked out really great. Up in the corner there I've got a bucket with just a gravity feed for my cabbing machine. And I've got a little stainless 10-inch floor tone trim saw, and I really like this. It works really great. I drain this every time I use it, because if I don't, I just use water to cut, it'll ruin my blade. Also, I use a little bit of WD-40 on my blade when I get done with it. WD-40 repels the water and it'll make your blade last a lot longer. But yeah, this is my main cabbing machine. This is called an Easy Cab, and it was manufactured and put together by Simple Elegance Rockshop, which is located at 85 South Mountain Way Drive here in Orem, Utah, and that's their phone number. And he's done a great job. There's a bunch of features I really like on this this little cabbing machine. Well, it's not little, it's big. It uses 8-inch wheels. It has 6 of them that you stack on there. But it's got a 1-inch shaft, and it's got an air conditioning motor which is basically waterproof. And I've had this for 10 years. And that motor is still going great. If the motor ever wears out, the good thing is it's less than $100, more like $60 to replace that motor. And it does a great job. It's got bearings that are back in here. They're self-centering bearings, and I had to replace it with that. But it's all stainless steel. I like the deck here because you can lay your hands on it. These little shelves right here, you can actually unscrew them and move them, and I just drilled a bunch of holes along the top here where I put the drip feed in, and I just use, this is just a little 1/4-inch water tube, and this is just like a low pressure irrigation valve, and I just fixed it up to a bucket and drilled a hole and used some fittings, and it works really great. The wheels I have on it, this is a centered wheel. I'm not really happy with it, although it's pretty good. It was one that came off of, I think I got this on Amazon, and it came out of China, and it's super heavy. It's nearly a solid disc of 8-inch steel there with a centered thing on it, but it's like a 60-80 grit, and I had a Norton centered one that really cut fast. This one cuts sort of moderate, and this is just one of those hard diamond wheels that I wear those out so fast, and even though they're only like $60 to $100, they wear out way too fast, and I just use this one for other things. But this is like my 100 grit here. This is like a 40 to 60 or something like that. This is a soft 200 wheel. This is a soft 400. This is a soft 800, and I have another hard wheel here that's like an 80 grit hard wheel that all I use it for anymore nowadays is just for dressing up my cups here. I got a leather wheel here. and it's just got like a pad on the back here that's literally, it's just a mouse pad that was glued to this aluminum wheel, and then this is a piece of buffalo hide with the inner part turned out so that it has something to grip, and it works really great. And you can it's just double side, it's just spray adhesive, so you can actually take this off and replace it when it starts wearing thin. But you can see I've got a lot of rocks here. I make a lot of marbles, and so everything I cut up into cubes or something that's shaped like a cube. I've got a bunch here. I sit on the top, so I have when I cut up a stone, I try to cut them all up, so I have a good selection. I can sort through them and find the finest ones, because I don't want ones with cracks. Like back there, I got a bucket right here, and it's just full of stuff. This one here that I may tumble someday. I don't throw it away, and then there's my chip pile from trimming stuff. But when I'm making marbles, I end up with probably 2 or 3 times as much chips and stuff like that I do actual good marble material. Because when here's another ones that has flaws in it when I cut them up, and I generally don't turn those into marbles. I might find something to do with them, like tumble them or make a little dice or something like that, but I don't use it. There's a bunch of rough stone here, and a bunch more cubes here. Some bottles for getting water, because I just get it out of my kitchen sink and pour it up in there. And in the winter time, I like to fill this not completely full. I like to put just a gallon of hot water in there, so that when it comes down there, it's warm and it's easier on your hands. It's really a crummy deal to put your hand under water that's 40 degrees. You get cold really fast. But if I fill that up with steaming hot water from the tap, and it comes down here, and I let it run pretty fast, and it starts dripping, and it's warm, and it's actually not too bad in the winter time. But I do put a little, I have it in my other shop, and then I got a drip bucket down here, and I just, like any rock hound, I've got a bunch of rough stuff. I got some flint, and there's my box that my blue Chalcedony came in. And the nice thing is about using these kitchen cabinets is I got drawers, and I've got kind of separated here in some boxes I just put together real quick. But to organize things, I put my marbles in these little blocks. I just drilled 1/2-inch holes in them, or a little bit bigger. I think these are 5/8, and this was an old chair that had fallen apart, and so this is hardwood. And I got a little thing here that I put my little daub sticks on, and one of the things I found worked really good was this was a nail from my rain gutters. When I replaced my rain gutters, I saved a bunch of these aluminum nails, and they actually work really good. And yeah, I just sand them a little bit so they grip better, but you put your wax on there and they work great. And I got some more daub sticks in there. Some of them I just made out of a branch when I was just making a big cab, and I like more ones that are round, and they work really good. I got some stone here that came from Florida, petrified coral, and I got a little shelf up here with a bunch of stuff on it. I got a little lamp there that I used for my daub sticks, and some extra batteries for my calipers, and matches up there for the lamp. And but yeah, I got all kinds of stuff. This is my spinner. It's a big 10-inch flat disc grinder for woodworking, but all I did was I took an inner tube and used some weldwood contact cement, and I just smeared it on one side and put the contact cement on the inner tube and put it on there. And I think I had, yeah, and it worked. It really worked great. This turns at 1500 RPMs. I wish I had a variable speed one, but I don't, which is why I just used, you can see where I make my marbles, it's all on the inner side so that it doesn't spin it too fast. And then I got a whole collection of these carborundum blocks. Let me show you how I make one of these carborundum blocks. So this is a 2 by 2 by 6 inch diamond dressing stick, and the only place I've found these is from KingsleyNorth.com, and it's found on their webpage under their lapidary sundries, and they're about I think they're 12 or 15 bucks. They're cheaper if you buy more, so I usually buy I buy 6 at a time because I use them up. And what I do is I just take and I cut it in half on my, and this cuts super easy and fast on my trim saw. So I'll measure this off, and you can use something to make a little mark on it, and I cut it into 1-inch blocks like that. Okay, and then when I cut it in half, I have a piece right there, and then I flip all those little pieces over and I cut them in half again, and then I set them aside because this stuff soaks up water really fast, just like a sponge. And then I set them aside until they dry out, and then when they're dried out, all I do is I take and to make a little dimple in there. So that's my Rockshop tour. It's to you it looks messy. To me it's wonderful. I got all kinds of stuff at my fingertips, and I know where everything is. I got drawers full of stones, and I got stones in here. I got polishing machines. I gotta make some more cups on them and do a little bit of improvement on them, but they work really great too. Anyway, another feature I have in my Rockshop is I have these little lights up here that cast more light on them. Well, I wanted to show you a couple other things. I like to sew. I made this hat, but when I first got started, I couldn't find me a very good, sturdy, heavy-duty apron to wear. So I went down to the local Joann Fabrics, and I bought me a piece of heavy-duty naga hide, and I just took and made a little pattern. The only thing I need to change is I need to change this, make this a little bit smaller, and I just used yeah, it turned out great. I used heavy-duty thread and this naga hide, and it's super heavy-duty. It's kind of stiff right now because it's cold out here, but in the summertime it's pretty floppy. I've had this for 8 years, and I just used an old pair of denim pants to make some ties on it that makes it easy to tie, and sewed those on. But yeah, it works really well, better than anything else. And I got this old chair, and I usually sit at this old chair instead of standing at my cab machine. I just find that I can rest my arms on the armrest there, and it's low enough that I don't have to stand up. If I want to stand up, I can, and I have it at the right height, but I have this old chair that I sit at all the time. That way I can spend hours at the cabbing machine, and which I have before. And so yeah, I've got it set up. It's pretty comfortable. I got an old towel that I hang right there so I can dry my hands off. And but yeah, it's great. So that's my Rockshop. Hope you enjoyed that little video. Comment below and ask me any questions you got. I'll put the phone number for this easy cab if you're interested in it, and just tell them that Matthew DeGraffering from Marble Gems, the guy that makes marbles, referred you to him, and see what he's got. Normally he just sells locally, and I think he generally just has a couple of these machines in stock. He may not even be making them anymore. I bought this one like 8 years ago, and it's been a long time since I've even been in his Rockshop. It's probably been 6 or 7 years. Anyways, thanks for watching.